Come here, baby. Hold still. Hold still. You're all right. Okay. We have audio. We're on this camera. Okay. Welcome to the live stream. Today we have Luna. She's a Standard Poodle, and she actually had surgery about a month ago on her back right leg. Torn ACL or a luxating patella, just when the kneecap pops inside. But I think it was a torn ACL. So she's healed up a bit, but she still cannot jump up or down. No running. We need to keep things nice and calm. And I also need to be very careful about how I manipulate that that leg and that joint. I'm probably not going to ask her to put too much weight on it. If you don't know me, my name is AJ. I've been a pet groomer for 15 years, and I've actually been working with dogs since I was about 8 years old. I was bathing them in my mom's pet salon that she ran out of our house, and that's how I earned my money. If I wanted something, I bathed some dogs and I earned it. So today I'm going to show you everything that I have learned on how to groom this poodle. I'm going to go ahead and start by getting this camera on down here, and we'll do her feet and her nails first. Point this down. I think that'll get the feet real well. Let's see. How can I do this? I'm trying to figure out the best angle to actually show you her feet. This might work. So I'll take my nail clipper, get you on this side camera, and I flip the foot upside down so that I can see the underside of the nails. And there's a big hollowed out portion, comes out to about there. I'm going to cut all that off. And then I'm looking at the inside for the white pulp. And that white pulp is usually dry and flaky, but once you get close to the blood supply, it becomes moist and smooth. See? Hang on. You can start to see it in the center. It's a pink little spot, and now it's a little bit more pronounced. Take off one more half cut over here, and now that looks good. I can see a good moist blood supply right there. Now I'll go ahead and do the next nail. Hold still. Come here, Luna. You're okay, baby. Stay. Hold still. It's okay. Now this nail is a little bit darker, but I can still see through it. When you can see through the blood supply, you can look through the side of the nail to determine how much you can cut off. Hang on, Luna. Luna, hold still. But ultimately, I use the same technique that I just described to you with the looking at the pulp to determine every single nail when I'm done cutting it. So it doesn't matter if they're black or pink or brown or whatever color the nails are. Looking at the pulp is the best way to tell how much further you can cut before you're going to make them bleed. Luna's being a little wiggly right now, a little more than I remember her doing in the past. Check for dew claw. She does not have any on that front foot. I'm going to stand her up. Spin her just a little bit. Try to get this foot underneath here. And you might notice that once I take that first cut, my next cuts do not cut all the way around the entire nail. I'm sticking my clippers about halfway in between and doing about half of the nail on each cut. You can really see from this angle how I'm tipping from side to side, cutting one half at a time. Okay. And she has a dew claw on her left foot, so we'll make sure we cut this. And this dew claw, it may have grown back, it may have been missed. It's hard to say what exactly happened, but pretty common that the dew claws grow back or come back. That's why you have to check every foot for dew claws. So you never know when they're going to have them and when they're not. So this is her injured leg. I'm going to try to keep it nice and low. And if she tugs, I'm probably going to let her have her foot back pretty easily. She is chewing on these nails. So I don't know if this foot's bugging her a little bit. She did chew off one of these nails. Okay, that's good. Now, see if she can put weight on that injured, or that leg that had surgery recently. I'm just going to lift up a little bit, see if she does it. She seems pretty stable. So I'm going to try again, and I'm going to try to keep this foot low. She's not wanting it done. So I'm going to do the same technique that I did before. On previous groups, her leg was injured before she had the surgery, and she didn't want to put any weight on it. So what I ended up doing then was sticking my elbow between her legs to support her weight on my tricep, and then I can pick up this leg and cut her nails without having to put all that weight on her injured leg. And these nails are really short and messed up. One nail was completely gone and it's growing back. So she chewed the heck out of these nails. Might mean there's something wrong, might not. They asked the vet about it. The vet said as long as they're not splitting and stuff, but some of those were definitely mangled. Okay, this foot's all done, so we're now done cutting the nails. Next step that I'm going to do is shaving the feet. So this will be another good one for this close-up camera. This is going to be clean feet, which is much more thorough than traditional just pad shaving. Traditional pad shaving would be something just like this. Yeah, Luna. Where I shave. Oh, come here, baby. You're okay. You're okay. Let's loosen this. Hang on. Nope, stay. Stay right here. Stay right here. Hang on. So traditional pads would be shaped like this. The V-shaped pocket beneath the main paw pad, and above the 4 toe pads gets shaved. And this would be the extent that the pad would be shaved. It's only in this little spot. Hang on a minute. She really doesn't want her feet messed with today. It sucks. Now the difference between what I just did and what I'm going to do is, called clean feet. And with clean feet, I'm going to shave all the way up to here, above all of the toes on the top side of the nails. So normally you would not do this. This is going to take all of the hair really short on the top side of the feet. Okay. And I'm going to shave between all of the toes. You have to be a little careful. This is definitely an advanced technique. If you're brand new, wouldn't recommend doing this. You could potentially cut the skin connecting these two toes. That's a pretty bad injury. But it's kind of tough to do. I've never actually seen it. I've never seen any groomer actually do it, but I know that it happens. Stay there. So as I'm shaving in between her toes, I'm pulling the hairs from underneath the nail and shaving them as I shave the inside of the toe. Okay. Wait. Hang on. Okay. This is killing the back. I'm going to bring the table up higher so I don't have to bend over as much. Luna's really struggling for this right now. So I'm going to try to finish the bottom of the foot real quick, which is just a little bit more on these last couple toes. Now I can flip her foot back over and shave it from the top side. I can shave all the top of her toes. Now I can start separating the toes and getting all the hair that's in between them. Stay. Okay, and that's what it looks like when you're all done with the clean foot. You can see before on this foot and after on this foot. And I'm just going to do that same thing to the other 3 feet. I'll go ahead and change out my blade, grab a nice cold blade for this next foot. I'll start shaving. Okay. Hang on. Okay, baby. Hold still. I'm gonna go ahead and bump on the other cameras as well, so you guys can see. You guys can see the other feet, or the other angles of kind of what she's doing with her body and stuff. Come here, baby. Hold still. Hold still. Hang on. Hang on. 2 feet down. 2 more to go. This blade needs oiled. Now is a great time to do it before she's bathed. Now I'll just turn this camera a little bit more that way. Sit. Temperature's still good. I would normally stand her up, but because of her surgery and her recovery, I'm going to let her sit. A little bit more difficult for me, but hopefully I can still get it. But I'm not able to show you as well as I'd like to, but I might not even be able to get it. Okay, one more foot. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? See if I can just pull it under. Hang on. Again, I know I'm not giving you guys the best angle, but I'm just trying to work with what she's giving me, where this leg ends up carrying the burden of both legs, or at least it has for a long time, and lifting this leg, like for me to do it how I traditionally would, to lift this leg would add more burden to her injured leg, and she didn't seem to tolerate it the best. She did okay with it. She can definitely put weight on that leg, but I don't want to increase the workload that this leg has to do while she's in recovery. So I'm going to do everything I can from what she'll give me, and then I'll ask her to move after that. Well, that might be it. Okay. I'm gonna call that good enough. Not perfect, but good enough. Okay. Now I can grab another blade that's nice and cool, and we will shave her sanitary. I'm going to stand her up. Here we go. Up. Good. And I'm going to shave all of her belly where the hair thins out. And I'll lift this leg up and shave her sanitary area too. I want to avoid her having any potential for peeing on her own fur and getting any mats down here in this this groin area where the fur rubs against itself so often. It's a really common spot to get really big, thick mats. If we just shave it all out, then that avoids the matting. When I come up and I shave her vulva to avoid matting, as well as to just keep it clean for when she goes to the bathroom. And I do the same thing from the other side. But you can't quite do the same thing from the other side, so I'm going to do it, modify it a little bit. I'm just going to try to stretch the skin out. Okay, just lean, spread your legs just a little. She does not want to, still doesn't want to bear the weight on that leg that had surgery. So I'm not going to force it. It's okay if this spot isn't perfect. It's not worth pushing her and stressing her out. Okay, now I'm going to shave her bum. Lift up her tail. Shave off any crusties or anything back there that I would have to scrub in the tub. I can just shave it off and it saves me some time. Okay, and then we also need to shave her face, but this blade touched the butt, so I'm going to separate it so that I know that it needs clean. This blade's a little warm. Grab this other one, a little bit colder. I'll lower the table a bit. Come on, nice and easy. There we go. Sometimes the table's hard to lower smoothly, and it ends up kind of bouncing a bit. I hate when I do that. So let's see for this. I mean, I guess I can try this. See if it works. Okay, that's Luna. And I'll just do auto director. So now I'm going to shave her face. Starting at the corner of her eyes, against the hair on her muzzle, and then I'll go with the hair on her cheeks. And I'll go ahead and jump up into her ears. I'm going to shave all the hair that's on the inside of the ear and on the surface of the ear canal. And that is in preparation for when I'm actually going to pluck the hairs inside of the ear canal. We do that to allow as much light and air to get inside of the ear, but we don't want to pluck hairs that are on the outside if we can just shave them instead. Okay, light's getting a little warm. Go ahead and change it. Come back to her ear. I'll shave the inside of this ear as well. Getting all the hairs on the surface of the ear canal nice and short. Up. Here. Now I'm just cleaning up any hairs that I feel like I can get a little bit shorter. Okay. I'm going to now pluck the inside of her ears. And this is to remove the hair that might block light and air from getting inside of the ear canal. Wait. Wait. It's okay. Hold still. Good girl. Hang on. Hang on. Stay. Whew. Now we'll get this ear as well. Stay. Alright. Okay. Now we need to take care of the matting that's in her ears, her top knot, and her tail. I'm going to get my dematting rake. This helps to cut up the mats. I'm going to grab my detangling conditioner and my long bristle slicker brush. And I'm going to just do her tail first since I'm right here. First I'll take the mat rake through it, which will separate the mats into smaller pieces that are a little bit more manageable. Okay, now that that's gone through all of the tail, I'm going to brush out the tail. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but we just want the majority of the tangles out, all the big ones for sure out, so that her tail will wash properly and come clean. Okay, now I'm going to start working on her ears. Ears are the bigger concern. Because she was wearing a cone, the ears ended up getting a bit more tangled up than usual. Okay, go ahead and take the brush through it now. She doesn't care for the inside getting brushed much. Wiggling on me a little bit. Nothing too wild though. You can hear that scratching sound? That's the bristles going over and slowly separating the mats. I think the rest is going to be on the outside. There's a good argument against brushing out some mats. Even if it's possible that you can, if you have the right tools to both separate it first and then brush it, you have good detangling conditioner. Whenever you separate mats on a dog's body, the skin gets irritated by how much brushing you have to do. So some mats will always irritate the skin. If you look closely underneath them, you'll see that the skin is very irritated for a certain size or a certain thickness of mat, depending on how much brushing you have to do. And there's a good chance that there's going to be a little bit of irritation on her ears from this amount of brushing. I'm trying to be gentle, trying to move slowly, not pushing too hard on the brush, not pulling too hard as well. That's going to separate the tangles a little bit slower, be a little bit more mild on the ears, but there's a good chance that I'm going to cause some irritation. I can almost guarantee that there will be some irritation on her ears after this. The things that I take into consideration are how often do the owners get the dog groomed? If that is very frequently, then I'll be more likely to do it. How often does the dog come in with these mats is another one. If the owners are getting their dog groomed every 2 months, but the dog is still coming in with massive tangles, I'm much less likely to brush out that dog's ears. What else? How does the dog tolerate it? That's another big one. If the dog is super patient and doesn't really mind having their ears brushed, or their tail, or whatever, that will also play a factor. Because if the dog is super uncomfortable, it's irritating their skin, and the owners are going too long in between and not brushing, that dog just needs a different haircut. They need a shorter trim so that the owners can keep up on it and the dog doesn't come in with massive tangles. A big problem on ears is causing hematomas. Some groomers brush too aggressively, they pull too hard, and the ear skin can actually separate from the cartilage, and it causes a massive blood blister underneath the skin. And it's the same thing that happens to wrestlers and UFC fighters when they get cauliflower ear. They have a burst blood vessel in their ear, and it swells up. It's super painful while it's happening, and then once it heals, it leaves scar tissue. And the scar tissue can be felt in the leather of the ear. It'll be bumpy. I felt lots of dogs with scar tissue from hematomas in their ears, and it can be caused by overbrushing, by brushing too hard, or by brushing on a mat that you really should have shaved. Okay, I've almost finished getting the rake through the entire ear. This ear was way worse than the other one, but the rake's going through it pretty easily. This backside is what's the most concerning. I need to be very careful. I need to be very gentle, or else the skin back here is just going to be raw. Okay, I'm going to spray some more conditioner just to make this as easy as possible. It would probably be too much conditioner if she had not been bathed yet. Might leave the hair a little bit oily looking, but she's going to get her bath and get it all washed out anyway, so I'm happy to use extra to make it a little bit easier for these tangles to come out, and less likely that I hurt her skin. Another thing that I just thought of in determining whether or not to brush out the dog's ears, how long are the ears? This dog's ears are super long, maybe 5 inches, and it would take a really, really long time to grow that back out. Now, if she had mats all against, really tight mats directly against the skin, I would just elect to shave them, because those always irritate the dog's ear super bad, and that's too much. But these mats were further away from the skin throughout the ear, and because this is it's a pretty unique circumstance where the cone that she was wearing was actually making it so the mats formed in the first place, and for those reasons, I am going to brush these out. That's why I'm doing it. If this was a first-time customer, I might also brush them out to give them a chance. They might have been in between groomers for a little while. It's hard to find a new groomer. But if this was a regular customer and the ears always come in matted, or every other time the ears are really matted, then I would elect to just start over. I'd cut them short, try to save a little, but I would cut the vast majority of the hair off, and then just brush out a tiny bit of the mat after I cut off the majority of it. Okay, almost through the tangles on this back side. Skin is definitely a little irritated. The mat rake is not even touching that back spot, but it is catching something right here. Boy, these mats are pretty bad. I know, enough. I'm sorry, baby. I think I'm gonna call that good. There might be a few more still, but I think it's brushed out enough that I can get it really clean. I'm just gonna get this one last one that I just found right on the top of the ear. Whew. Boy, that took forever. I'm just gonna double check her top knot doesn't have anything too crazy in it. Definitely has some tangles. My arm's tired of brushing. My shoulders, feeling it. Okay, and with that, we are ready to go give her a bath. So give me a few moments. I'm going to get the bathing camera turned on, and then we'll head back there. Okay. My goodness. Whew. Okay, I'm going to get the water warmed up first. Now it's warm. Turn the bathing system onto my oatmeal shampoo. I'll turn, this activates the bathing system. This uses high pressure water to mix the shampoo for me, so I don't need to do a pre-rinse. I can just go directly to washing her body and legs, but it requires high pressure water. I don't want that high pressure water to go in her eyes, nose, or ears, so I'll wash her face by hand. Let's go ahead and do her body first though. Come on, Nana. try to spin her around. Turn, Luna. Turn, baby. Good girl. Stay. Okay, your body's all washed. Turn off the bathing system. Now I'm going to rinse off her head, or I'm going to get her head wet. Okay, now that her head's wet, we'll start applying the shampoo. And it's going to take quite a bit to get her top knot and ears to lather because there's so much hair. So I'm going to keep reapplying until I get a nice good lather. That lets me know that the fur is actually clean. This is one of those situations where the dog is squinting a lot while I'm rubbing her face. But if I stop rubbing, she opens her eyes. sometimes when they squint, it means that you got shampoo in their eyes and it's burning them a little bit. And so I thought that might have been the case, but as soon as I stopped touching her, she opens her eyes and doesn't seem to be squinting anymore. So I don't think I got any soap in her eyes, but just in case I did, with really low pressure, I'm going to rinse out her eyes and make sure there's no soap in there. I'm not going to leave it up to chance and wondering. I'm going to make sure that there's no problem. Turn. Spin. There we go. Okay, we're done bathing. Now I'm squeezing out all the excess water and I'm checking for soap as I do it. If I was to feel any slippery, sudsy spots, I'd check my hands for any more soap, but I didn't feel any, so we're good to go. Let's grab a towel, get her dried off. over. Take her over to this drying table. Okay. Woo. Shake. I like it when the dogs shake at this point because it helps get more water off. Versus in the tub when they're just gonna get sprayed with more and now we're both taking a shower. I much prefer it here. So I'm gonna use the towel to squeeze out just as much of the water as I can. The towel does a really good job of getting most of the water out really quickly, and then I'll use the blow dryers to finish up the job and get it all fluffed up and completely dry. Okay, toss this by the washing machine, and now put this leash on, and we will get Luna all dried up with the blow dryer. So these blow dryers are very loud. I use earbuds for a little bit of hearing protection, as well as music, or today it's a podcast, and then these earmuffs on top of it for maximum hearing protection, and it helps me hear my podcast better too. But for the dog, I give them cotton ball earplugs. Stick these in there, help protect their ears from the very loud blow dryers that will cause hearing damage if you hear the volume that comes from them for too long, then it can definitely cause hearing damage. Okay, I'm going to use both dryers on high for her body, as long as she's not falling over. If she starts being a little wobbly, if the dryers are pushing her and she tips over a little bit, I'll only use one. But if I can, I'll use both dryers for her body to just go through as fast as I can. Then I'll use this dryer on half speed for her head. I don't want high velocity air to be in her eyes, ears, nose, or mouth, or her privates. So if she's holding still, I'll have it closer to her head, but if she's wiggling and I'm scared it might go over her eye, then I'll have it further away. Let's get started. She did pretty good. A little bit of wiggling, but she's all dry, so let's head back up front and we'll finish her haircut. Girl. Come here. Come here, Lotus. Nice and easy. Alright, let's get this party started. Let's get this party finished. I'm trying to all but fly through this. Go ahead and get both cameras rolling. Up we go. I'm just going to double check what length I'm doing on her body. I think it's the shortest, number 10, but just gonna double check. Check twice, cut once, sort of thing. Yep. Okay. So number 10. Is the blade. And I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the leash. I'm just going to take it off for a few moments. Luna's a good girl. And I'm going to set the line all around her head. I guess it's mostly just the back side of her top knot. And we're not going to take too much length off of it. We're mostly going to shape it up. Go ahead and take out the cotton balls in her ears. Tiny bit of wax on this one. And tiny bit of wax on this one too. We can reuse these. I'm going to continue shaving up her face and her neck. I guess I can use this camera and I'll get her chest and her neck shaved. I do have plans to set up new camera positions so that there will be several shots that will be much closer, see a lot more details. But I'm going out of town and I won't be able to do it until I get back. Can't see none of that. Let's adjust this again. Might as well just scoot her back a little since she's not attached to the leash. Anyways, you can see a little bit more. Good girl. Stay, Luna. Stay. Where are you going? You gonna lean off the table? Go to the armpits. On the leg side, I'll pull the leg forward, and I'll push the leg back and shave on the body side. Do that a couple times until everything comes out smooth. See? Hold still. Hold still. Temperature is kind of okay, but a little warm. Stay. Just go ahead and change it. Be proactive. Stay. This is a leg lock when I grab the back of the elbow and pull the elbow forward. That makes her straighten her leg. and I can get all these areas on her leg shaped up real nice. Come on, hold still, hold still. And then I can roll the skin around this part of her leg to get the different hairs out of the little pocket beneath the tendon. Okay, leg's pretty dang close. I'll go ahead and get this other leg while she's sitting. Shape the inside. Roll the skin around right here on the same pocket on the other side. Pull the arm forward. Shape against the leg. Push the arm back, shave against the belly. Do it again, see what else I can get. Being a little wiggly, wanting to pull her leg away, but I'm still able to work on it. So I'm just going to allow her to pull and keep shaving. I don't need her to hold perfectly still, I just need her to hold still enough so that I can keep working and keep getting the job done. Okay. There's times when I need her to hold perfectly still for safety reasons or for accuracy, sometimes like on the head. And I will save all of the time that I would spend, the extra time that I have to spend in order to slow down and get her to hold still for those spots. I'll save that for when I need to, and not just when I want to. Like, it would be nice. I want her to hold still for her legs, make it a little easier, a little faster, but I don't need it. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and turn this camera off, and then we'll jump around the other two. Put the leash back on. She doesn't really need it, but just a little sense of security. If her mom were to walk in, or if like the mailman was to come by, she might want to walk towards the edge, maybe even jump off and go say hi. And that would be catastrophic with her injury still healing with the surgery that she had. That would be really bad if I let her do that. So put the leash on, just apply a tiny bit of tension. Just enough to let her know that it's still there. She could easily, you know, she can go a lot of places right now, but the leash is tight enough that she will know that she's attached to it, which makes her much less likely to try and jump off. Blade temperature is still good. Alright, Luna, just stand up. Good girl. Now she's standing and finish this front elbow. think I just got one more leg and then we're all done shaving her body. One more time, baby. Oh, good girl. Stay. Wait. I think about done shaved. Yeah, looking good. Okay, last couple spots. Gonna be to brush out her tail, her face, ears. Chug some more coffee. Start with the tail, since I'm already back here. Up. Up, up. Get on my. You got it, baby. Good job, man. Now there's going to be some new tangles from the blow dryer, but there shouldn't be any big tangles. So this should brush out fairly quickly. The new tangles from the blow dryer are just from the high pressure air swirling around the hair, and some of them get twisted up and tangled, but they should be very minimal, and it should all brush out really easy. And now I'm going to brush out the ears. This might take a little bit longer because she probably had a couple mats left in her ears that I didn't brush out, so I wanted to give her ear a little bit of a break. I kind of needed a little bit of a break too from brushing. Let's see what happens. Okay. That ear's pretty good. That will help over the other one. hold still. That's actually... Okay. Now we'll do the top of her head. Okay, we're all done brushing. Now I'm going to take my comb, comb down her ears. This also double checks for any tangles that are left in here. Trim off a little bit off the bottom. Okay, I'll do the same thing to the other side. Comb it all out, make sure there's no more mats. Comb it down, and then trim it up. she's leaning her head to the left. It felt like her right ear was longer, but I couldn't figure out why until I realized that she was leaning her head to the left. Then all of a sudden it made sense. I'll take off a bit more on the right side. Don't lean your head that way. Still a little more. Needs to come off this right side. Okay. Alrighty, now I'm going to do her top knot. And I'm not taking much length off this time. They like the length. So I'm mostly going to be cleaning up around the lines and then just evening up any parts that are uneven. Okay, starting to come together. Stay. Wait. Stay. Okay. Okay. Now we just got to do the back. Stay. So this is a giant, fluffy top knot. Definitely the biggest top knot that I do. Maybe the biggest top knot I've ever done. It's a little difficult to get even, but I'm just brushing it back and forth, trying to look at it from different angles and making sure that it's round in each direction that I come over it. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. Go ahead and turn this camera off. Sorry about that. Keep adjusting the audio. I put it on this camera because I thought it would be closer and it'd be a little bit better quality, but then I forgot when I turned it off that you couldn't hear me. Up, up, up. We're almost done. Just got final touches on her tail. Take the underside of her tail a little bit tighter so that it stays clean. Okay. Okay. Let's clean your ears, and I think you're about done. Hang on, Luna. Hang on, baby. Hold still. Just a little bit of wax, not too much. Okay. See if she'll shake her head one last time. She almost started shaking it, then she stopped. You're gorgeous. You're not. Cute. Okay, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All done. Okay. That is the end of the live stream. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And be back tomorrow for some more dogs. Can't tell you what that is right now. Tune in tomorrow to find out. 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Mountain Time. That's when I'll be doing it. So, bye for now.